Hello everyone, welcome to the pros and cons for the Nottingham Forest game. A lot of negative stuff to talk about straight off, and probably one or two positives, I'm not going to lie. So I am going to need you guys to stick with me in this one. Get your opinions in the comments section and let me know just how you felt about that game last night, because it's up and down in it. It's camel season. We are really a roller coaster of a ride. And just a very quick note, I've just done a members video, which is getting dropped later on today. Yeah, obviously, with it being the last day of 2023, I thought I'd go back and have a look at the year. Wish I didn't do it now, honestly, because you want to talk about that specifically, up and down, inconsistencies, that has happened all year. But we're not here to talk about the in-year review. That'll be the members video. Today, we're to talk about the specific game last night against Nottingham Forest, and we're obviously going to start with the negative. So should we just kick it off? Let's get into it. Why the fuck did we spend £85 million sterling pounds on Anthony? Why? Doesn't run at defenders, slows attacks down, doesn't cross or shoot, refuses to use his right foot. He's way too easy to defend against. And this has become, yet again, another financial hole in our pockets. You want to talk about repeated mistakes and stupid decisions. This is another one. In a calendar year, to stick with the theme, he's had, I think, 1 goal in 33 appearances for Manchester United. If you're buying someone for 85 million quid 10 years ago would get Cristiano Ronaldo, the best player in the world. This year, it gets you mediocrity. It gets you a 20 million quid player. If you're Manchester United, that is, of course. How we paid, Ajax must be looking at that now and must be like, fuck me. What an absolute deal. Leicester are looking at it and think, you know what, 80 mil, buzzing with that. Juventus at the time, buzzing with that. Dortmund, buzzing with that. We have this kind of transfer policy, I don't want to make this a transfer show, where we just really overspend on really basic players. You know, I think Man City, twice have they done it? I'm guessing, off the top of my head, 100 million Grealish, 90 million Gvardiol. I don't think there's anyone else. Everyone else, like Bernardo Silva, 40 million quid. Kevin De Bruyne, 50 million quid. Kyle Walker, 50 million quid. Mahrez, I don't know, I think, was he like, what, 40? 50? You know? Go to any other club. I think the only other club who do what we do are probably Chelsea. And that is not the similar group that you want to be in. So this mistake now, especially if you change manager, he's going to come in, he's going to have a look at Anthony and he's going to go, not for me. I think the only reason why Ten Hag is sticking with him because he spent so much money on him and it was his guy from Ajax. But he's been shit. He's been absolutely shit. He's been one of the worst wingers in the league, and that isn't, me over-egging the pudding or anything like that, or being sensationalist. He's been one of the worst wingers in the league, and he's shown that again in last night's performance. No focal point up top. You know what? As soon as I saw the lineups last night, I knew he was in trouble. I knew it. I said it on the stream. Playing Marcus Rashford as a number 9 has never worked. It never will. It just can't happen. Just does not work at all. I just kept thinking to myself last night, we need someone with a bit of attitude, a bit of physical presence, someone like a Zlatan Ibrahimovic. That's exactly what we needed in the game. Exactly what we needed. And obviously Rashford is nowhere near that kind of player. You can't play it into him. You can't go long because they're playing a deep line. There's no combinational play. No one was kind of playing it in and then, running off. And like Martial can do to that to a certain extent. You need an experienced head, physical... I don't know. Let's say you go throw someone like a Patrick Schick in there, right? Or you go throw, I don't know, that the geezer Garassi in the Bundesliga. Like, just someone with a bit of physical presence, with a bit of a stature, who knows how to hit the back of the net. Just to dovetail along Højlund. Because when we have to play Marcus there, the attack is just completely killed off. I know he scored last night, and fair play to him, but come on, man. Come on. We really need an experienced head up there. Especially with youngsters as well around him. Now, this guy is on the pros and cons every single week. I mean, he's been on a couple times for the pros, but the majority, we know who I'm talking about. Scott McTominay. That change with Kobe Mainoo absolutely killed us. I know Eric Ten Hag came out and he said after the game that Kobe was a little bit tired, and that's sometimes that's fair play. If he was trying to protect him, whatever, I understand that side of it. But it is so obvious that this guy is not a holding midfielder. And when you bring him on and put him there, and their 2 goals come from a central area where they've basically just cut it back, then the question marks had to be asked. And Ten Hag said at the time as well last night in the post-match press conference, if he had to make that sub again, he would absolutely do it. The weird thing is about McTominay is I get why managers like him because he trains well, he's got a physical presence, his attitude's absolutely spot on. But he has 0 football intelligence and 0 technical ability, really, to play at the top level. You know, if he's at fucking, I don't know, Crystal Palace or something like that, he'd probably be the best player or one of the best players. That's absolutely fine. Or even West Ham, he'd be really, really good for them in their setup. But he can't, if you're trying to keep hold of the ball in a possession-based game and keep it ticking over and play balls in behind and really control the game, McTominay ain't that guy. And we saw that as a prime example yesterday. I would probably sell him in the summer. When we got that offer from West Ham for 30 million quid, at the time I was saying we could probably get more, but to be honest, I'd jump at 30 million quid now, 100%, because it's been a McTominay project with Ten Hag, and I actually think it's going to lose him his job. Speaking about Eric Ten Hag as well, there's a lot more people calling for his head now. I think, like I said, his stubbornness will get him killed. I'm curious to know what Ineos are going to do. I think they're going to leave him in post at least until the summer. So for anyone who's calling for an interim or calling for a different manager, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're just going to bide the time, let it be a rough ride, and then they will make serious decisions in the summertime. I know there's been links with Potter and these kind of guys, but let's be honest, lads. If you're bringing in Graham Potter halfway through the season, you're already writing off the season. You know, and where are you going to get the money from to sack Ten Hag as well? It's going to cost you about 15 million quid. So that there, first and foremost, is an issue. His tactics and style at the minute is a real issue. Well, the lack of style, I'd probably say. You don't know what the identity of this team is. You listen to Ten Hag and he speaks about being proactive, direct, and da-da-da. But we didn't do anything yesterday until Nottingham Forest actually scored. As soon as they scored, that's when we started playing a little bit. So is it a mentality issue? Is that why we're inconsistent? Of course it is. The same players have been doing this for years. The advanced midfielder thing, I talk about this midfield project, right? The advanced midfielder thing makes no sense because if you're going to play Eriksen and Bruno as the high 8s, right, you want that to have an effect. You want that to some substance to it. Always playing them there because look at the amount of chances we're creating. Look how many goals we're scoring. Look how many this, that, da-da-da. And that isn't the case at all. We're way worse off with it. When we had the midfield Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno higher up, it worked miles better. So why do we keep reverting to this weird shape in mid? I don't understand it. Also, I don't understand what's changed. Apart from that, what's changed from last year? Because last season we were so fucking good. I know they got piped off Liverpool and City, etc. Obviously, the away form was worrying. But we went to the new camp and played really, really well. We beat City at Old Trafford. Like we put in some decent performances, came third and won a Carabao Cup. Now it's just like completely unravelled, and I'm not quite sure how long Eric Ten Hag actually has left. We are conceding the same goals, cut back to the edge of the box. A man that isn't marked taps it in. I can go as further back as Arsenal, the Ødegaard goal, or go to Bayern Munich, Gnabry's goal. Like, it's happened so many times. Spurs, I think, got one against us as well. So if you want to know how to play against Manchester United, get the ball, pass to a player on the edge of the box and score. That is the only tactics you need against United because we are... I don't get what it is. It's lack of tactical intelligence, first and foremost, that I mentioned with Scott McTominay before. It's the players, but then also the coaching has to come into it as well because you're like, how can this repetitively keep happening? Are the players just thick or is the coaching not getting through to him? I think it's probably a case of both. Lack of goals. Luton Town have now scored more goals than Manchester United in the Premier League this season. And their squad probably cost about 7 million quid. Plus loans. They've got Tahith Chong and players like that. The only reason why we actually scored yesterday was because the keeper literally gave us a goal. He literally threw it out to us a million times, and then the one time we actually scored from it. That was the only reason why we scored. It wasn't no, fantastic move or anything like that, like the Villa game was when we scored that offside goal. The passing was on sublime in that. Nothing like that at all. The keeper literally gave it us. We needed Marcus Rashford to carry us. Last season, scoring 30 goals in all competitions. If we didn't do that, we wouldn't have achieved what we did. Now, his form has dropped off the face of a cliff. No one has stepped up to take that mantle. Not one person. So the lack of goals is also another thing where, and the lack of just when we get a chance, we just not clinical at all. Right then, just a couple of stats to finish the negatives off. Are you ready for these? Let's go. Manchester United lose 5 games in December for the first time since 1933. That was from Andy Mitten. Manchester United have lost as many as 9 of their first 20 league games in a season for the first time since 1989 to 1998. It's as many defeats as they suffered in the whole of 2022 and 23. Manchester United have lost 21 games in all competitions in 2023. Only in 1930, 1975 and 1921 have they ever lost more in a calendar year, breaking the records for all the wrong reasons. Right, I have one positive to discuss. Amad Diallo came on, had a really nice cameo. Always been my personal preference. Anyone, again, I always mention this on the channel, but anyone who's watched the channel for a long time knows I've been a big fan of this kid, and I believe in him. I think he's going to be a star. Sounded a bit like Louis Walsh there on the X Factor. You're going to be a star. You're sailing right through to the final. But no, I thought his first touch, his link up. You saw on the right-hand side, as soon as he came on, it opened up. He was linking up with Bruno Fernandes, linking up with the right back, had a shot on goal. He just more productive than Antony. Just actually does something. And I remember that training clip that went out before the game where Amad's 1v1 within 5 seconds, past the man scores. Antony takes about 30 seconds, eventually scores, but takes ages doing it because he does that in game, just slows our attack down naturally. So that right-hand side changed immediately. Amad needs to start over Antony 100%. I don't give a shit if you spent 85 million quid on Antony. Amad looked better in that short cameo, and his decision-making is quick as well, and he just opens up lanes for other people. So I would love to see him against Wigan for a full 90 minutes, but with this manager, you just never know, do you? Conclusion. Camel FC, up and down, flatter than a pancake, tactics all over the gaff, deep line, midfield pulled left, right and centre, 0 chance for creation for the forwards, and the press I thought was disjointed again. The wing-backs couldn't really commit to it because they had to deal with Elanga was staying really, really wide, and you had Gibbs-White drifting and stuff. Of course, the performances fall with the manager, and, you know, if he can't get a set of players to play, that does fall on his head. But I also think at the same time, if you're going to have a clear out, have a proper clear out. I don't think Ineos are going to come in. Well, I don't think they're going to get rid of Erik ten Hag first and foremost. I think they'll give time to assess the situation like I touched on before. Summer's coming up. There'll be huge changes at the club, and I'm hoping for the better. You know, players like Marcus Rashford have just received a new contract on 300k a week. We've got Sancho sat there playing FIFA for 350k a week. Players who the and ahhing about in Varane, who was like, is he going to stay at the club? Is he not? Is he going to sign an extension? Does Saudi want to buy him? Casemiro, is he going to go in the summer as well? I really don't know. But I would rather stick with this manager until the end of the season than have a whole nother Ragnick situation where a guy comes in for 6 months, probably ends up doing well, and then they sign him as like a full-time fucking permanent manager. Fuck that shit. I do not want to do that again. I would not want to do that again. We are completely fucked at the minute. We're genuinely and totally completely fucked. This is 10 years of bad decision-making, which has now kind of stacked a pile of problems so big, it's almost impossible to sort out. Almost impossible. If I went on the radio this morning, I got asked to go on and ended up going. But if I went on this morning and they asked me, Nick, you know, you've been a United fan for quite a while. What are the problems? What needs addressing? I'm like, I don't know. I could. Well, I do know. I could tell you, but probably going to be here for about an hour explaining it. There's like 50 things up with this club that need sorting out. And I always stood by the fact that this is never ever going to be a quick fix. This is going to be years to get right if they get it right. So, like I said, you need to buckle your belt up. We're in for a ride at the minute, which we have been for the past 10 years, haven't we? So, not very good for us. Another write-off season. We've got nothing to hope for. I mean, we can talk about the FA Cup and Wigan and what changes we make, but in reality, when we play one of the big boys in the FA Cup, we'll probably end up going out anyway. I don't believe we're going to get Champions League football. We may scrape Europa if we manage to put some sort of form together when the injured players get back. So, yeah, that's how I'm feeling at the minute. I'm sure you guys are probably similar. But do let us know your thoughts on the game as a whole, the tactics deployed, individual performances, what changes you would make for the Wigan game. Hope you've enjoyed this analysis, as miserable as it's been, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Please do leave a like in the video for us, subscribe to the channel, and share to a friend, yeah? Peace.